a bedtime story?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it. Now, we can't just do it. We have to set the mood. Right? Imagine that it's dim, maybe one light bulb on, and pretend this is a rocking chair. And I'm sitting next to one of my 3 daughters. She's 3 years old, and she says, "Daddy, tell me a story. Tell me a bedtime story." And I say, "Okay. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who said, 'Daddy, tell me a bedtime story.'" And he said, "Okay, ready? Once upon a time, there was a little girl who said, 'Daddy, tell me a bedtime story.'" And he said, "Okay, ready? Once upon a time, there was a little girl who said, 'Daddy, tell me a bedtime story.'" And he said, "Mr. Toastmaster, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, with bedtime stories like that, I shouldn't have any wonder why my kids might have turned out that way." How many 3-year-olds know the meaning of the word recursion? "Daddy, you're not going to tell us the recursive story again, are you?" Again? What do you mean again? Still, it's pretty hard to end recursion sometimes. Kids say the darndest things, and you know, I have to take some of the blame, obviously. But it's interesting when it comes back at you. For example, when my eldest daughter was 3, she said, "Daddy, can I have a cookie?" And I said, "What's the magic word?" And she said, "Come on, what's the magic word?" "Please." Thank you. So she says, "Please." And I said, I was in a playful mood. And I said to her, "Oh yeah? What does please mean?" And she stopped and thought about it with that same intensity that 3-year-olds have. And she looked up and she said, "It means I want it now." My fault. Her sister, when she was 3, she's sitting by herself. She's playing with her stuffed animals. And she's got all kinds of stuffed animals. And she's got them gambling about. So she picks up her doggie and goes, "Woof, woof, woof, woof." And she picks up the kitty and goes, "Meow, meow, 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 meow." And she picks up the giraffe, looks at it, "Giraffe, giraffe, giraffe, giraffe." And her little sister, well, Toastmasters has certain requirements about speech content, about genteel people. So let's just skip her for now. As they got older, they wound up diverging in different directions. For example, the middle girl, we were camping in northern Canada, way up north, and there's a moose standing by the side of the road. And we get out of the car, and there are other people get out of the cars. And people came right up to the moose, and they're standing next to it, getting their pictures taken with the moose and everything. And we're standing back a bit, and my daughter leans over, she goes, "Dad, why isn't the moose running away?" I said, "Christina, look how big that moose is. Look how wide those antlers are. Who do you think should be running away?" She looked, "I'll be in the car." Now her older sister, nothing like that. 12 years old, she walks in the door with a boy on her arm. She says, "Dad, we're engaged." Now, when you're the parent of a teenager, you gotta take these things in stride. So I didn't miss a beat. Engaged in what? I must admit though, today, she's happily married, not to him. Now our youngest daughter, again, I'm gonna have to skip her because the statute of limitations hasn't expired yet. So not only do kids say the darndest things, they also do the darndest things. So in our house, we have house rules. I'm sure everybody does. Only we have an actual list in the computer where the kids type it in. Part of their punishment is to add the rule that they broke to the computerized list. I brought with me today our list. And you notice it's old. The kids are all grown up now, so it's on old traction fin.
Really?
Would you like to hear some of the house rules? Some of them are obvious, like number 1, no TV until your homework is done. Number 7, keep your feet off the furniture. Number 9, no talking with your mouth full. Some of them are a little less obvious though, like number 23, don't ask the question more than once. Same question more than once. You tire of answering the same one. Number 36, if you tell someone shut up, you have to do them a favor. Number 40, no phone calls before noon on the weekend. Now, how many of you have seen my email signature line where it still says that? That rule is still in effect today. There are some other rules that go without saying, should go without saying. Number 51, use the ladder when getting down from the top bunk. Number 60, stay off the roof. And number 77, a big catch-all phrase, paraphrased from the book A Child's Garden of Grass. Games involving guns, knives, fire, and high places are out for obvious reasons. Now, with all these rules, we really need some kind of special forgiveness for the kids. And we came up with a unique one. We call it graces. The idea is to catch the kid doing something right, or extraordinary, or something remarkable. When you do, you give the kid a grace. What a grace means is that will get them out of any one punishment. Okay? So if the kid, for example, is grounded, she can use a grace, and she'll be allowed out for the night. And kids would always write them down on cards. You can only use one once, so we write them down on a card. I have with me here the actual box of graces. They span back over a quarter century of all the different ones that the kids have done. It's like, here are a couple. Yes. There are some for memorable events. Carissa's grace for catching her first fish. A grace for getting 5 100s in math in a row from the middle girl, Christina. For getting Dad a beer right away without complaining. Memorable. They get them for physical accomplishments. Grace for going off the high dive, Christina. A grace for flipping off the diving board from Carissa. And a grace for jumping off the Lehigh River Dam. You better stop this, otherwise we have to change the kid's name to Billy Joe McAllister. Technological feats for Carissa, the youngest. A grace for fixing the Nintendo. Carissa, again, a grace for creating a website better than what Dad could do. Wow. And Christina, a troublesome one, for figuring out how to get past the computer password. I'm not sure I should push that one either. Well, the kids are all grown now, and now we're giving graces to the grandkids. Although it breaks your heart to punish them in the first place. But it's great having them around. My wife says, grandkids are your reward for not murdering your kids when they're teenagers. But it's like old times again, because I get to read them bedtime stories. However, their moms warn them, saying, no, don't let him do the recursive story unless he does an ending. So I had to come up with an ending to the recursive story. Would you like to hear it? Sure. And the dad promised he'd never tell the recursive story ever, ever again. And he kissed the little girl goodnight, and she lived happily ever after. And the dad said he would never, ever tell the recursive story ever again. Kissed the little girl goodnight, and they lived happily ever after. And the dad promised he would never, ever tell the recursive story ever again, and he did. Kissed the girl goodnight, and she lived happily ever after. Madam Toastmaster!